पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ रुपए का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस केवल 450 रुपए महीने से शुरू। Wow!
A very important decision has been taken, and this is a decision related to burning coal in and around the national capital region. This is significant, as you will know, because it's a big move to cut industrial air pollution, which contributes to about 23% of the total pollution in the national capital region. So what has happened? Ban on coal burning around Delhi except for power plants. The air quality panel has warned the industrial units on closure and heavy fines. This ban on coal in NCR is going to take effect from the 1st of January 2023. Over 1600 units in UP, Haryana, Rajasthan were to shift to gas. And because they did not, there is now a very heavy fine or heavy penalty of shutting down these units, which they are staring at. Banned fuels include coal except for thermal power plants. Fuels allowed in selective NCR industries, low-sulphur fuels, biomass, metallurgical coke. Banned fuels in NCR, what are these banned fuels? Let's tell you that. Coal, diesel, and naphtha. NCR industries, that is the National Capital Region industries, have been burning tons of coal daily. There is an estimate that it is one such big unit burns about 5,000 tons. Air Quality Panel has now said that we are encouraging industries to shift to PNG, that is piped natural gas, and other cleaner fuels. Why is this important? This is important because industrial pollution, because of coal burning, is a 23% contributor to pollution in Delhi. And we know that pollution levels are record high. Let me now introduce our guest, Dr. Vikas Maurya, Director and Head Pulmonology of the Fortis Hospital. And we also have Karthik Ganeshan, Fellow and Director of Research Coordination, CEEW, Council on Energy, Environment and Water. Thank you very much. Dr. Maurya, I want to begin with you first. And ask you this question, that it's about time. We saw industries being shifted out, polluting industries shifting out of Delhi in the past. That is the industrial units operating within Delhi. Now that was done because of its effect on pollution. Now there is, of course, this larger issue being spoken about, industries in and around the national capital region and North India. How important is it to stop industrial pollution right now? How big a contributor is it? And do you feel that it will be able to make a sustainable difference in the pollution levels?
Yeah, I think what I feel is that this is a part of a graded plan on pollution. As we see that they have started on, vehicles, the Bharat Stage 6 vehicles, then they're pushing on electric vehicles. Then obviously they're working on industries, they were moving out, and now they're acting on, the pollution, which is, the coal, which is being used widely in the industries as well as in the domestic areas, specifically by small industries and the food industry as well. So if you ask me, yes, coal is one of the polluter of, air, and we know that it produces, nitric oxide, sulfur oxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, particulate matters. And yes, it does contribute to air pollution in a significant way. So medically, I think if you ask me, yes, it is done in a way that it should be done. And I think it is good for the people because yes, it will certainly reduce the level of air pollution which we are having. But yes, having said that, I think all other measures needs to be taken in a graded way so that we can have a cleaner air in Delhi. And yes, obviously we have to take care of the industries or those who are dependent on it, and I think that's the government will take care of it.
Karthik Ganeshan, I want to come to you now. You see, by all estimates, it's very clear that this is a major contributor, right? Industrial units. It contributes to about, a rough estimate suggests about 20% of the total pollution. Now, it's about time that this coal burning stops. But will it necessarily ensure that there is a dramatic drop in the pollution levels? If 1600 units in Haryana, Rajasthan either shift to gas and failing to do so, they are shut down?
It's an interesting question, Sanket. So obviously, the source apportionment studies have said ranges anywhere between 15 and 20%. So in theory, one should expect a commensurate reduction. But this approach of banning and suggesting that a 6-month timeline, this order was actually issued sometime in June, saying that coal is going to be banned. So they had about 6 months timeline. But at the end of the day, these are producing units that host many jobs, that cater to the market in the vicinity of the NCR for the products that they make, whether it's paper and pulp, or whether it's a textile unit or a sugar unit. So there is definitely a big impact that's going to happen on the availability of the commodity in this region and the profitability of those units. And they've all invested a lot of money in setting them up. So we should have thought of a mechanism where there is an option for entities to basically clean up what they're producing by way of pollution. And if they deem it to be too expensive, then they choose to shut down. So basically, they have to maintain a standard. Now, the challenge is we've not managed to enforce the existing norms on what the emission standards are for various industrial units. And now we're going for sort of this high-handed approach of we're going to ban you if you don't shift to a different fuel. But the reality is that there isn't the manpower to basically go out there on a daily basis to go and check who is in compliance, who is choosing what. As you said, there are hundreds of units. If that was there, then we could have fixed the problem today by actually ensuring they're all compliant with the emission norms that they should be. So I don't see this as immediately alleviating the situation because there is no way that sitting in one place, any of these pollution control boards are actually going to know what's happening in each of these different units. And it's a bit unfair, I think, to the units to suggest that 6 months timeline is sufficient for them to switch, even as much as, yes, gas might be available. But they're technically competing with units that are producing using coal across the different parts of the country. So, for instance, a unit in Western UP is probably competing with a unit in Eastern UP or in also using coal. So how does he stay competitive? How are we compensating them? Ultimately, if it's about the air quality in the NCR, we've got to figure out how do we basically pay these units to pollute less in some way, where if there are benefits that are being had, how do we ensure that we are sort of shouldering the burden? Without that, it's always going to be a bit of a political tussle, and I'm not sure whether this will stand the test of time. The proof of the pudding is hopefully in the eating.
Okay. But Dr. Maurya, coming back to the ill effects, and we've discussed this on a number of occasions in the past also, the problem exists. And obviously, a long-term solution is something that we should ideally be thinking of when we don't have this problem peaking. Now, in this winter season, the problem has already peaked. The problem is right here, high pollution. At a time like this, do you feel that this entire effort needs to be taken forward to stop these polluting industries? Because you need clean air to breathe, right? I mean, there is already a problem. We see the AQI levels as high as 300, 400, 500. And with the fog setting in, it further accentuates the problem.
Yes, see, I mean, if you ask me as a medically, I think we would always say that, yes, the measures to take reduce air pollution, I think should be taken. And I think we know the ill effects, and they are drastic with air pollution. We know there are respiratory effects, the cardiovascular, the heart, the neurology, effects that affect on the pregnant women and children. So I think the ill effects are huge, and we are suffering for quite a long period of time. So yes, that's what we believe, that anything which the money is to be taken, then needs to be taken obviously in a graded way, in a strategic way, so that obviously those people who are dependent on it, on some, for example, on this fuel, obviously they should not be hit very hard. But yes, by saying that whether it's right or not, I think it's because sometimes, because at one point of time we have to take certain decisions. So yes, we have to take a decision. At this moment, we have a very poor air quality, and obviously it is going to increase more with the decrease in the temperature. We know that the pollution level increases. So medically, if you ask me, then obviously I am of the firm opinion that we should take the measures so that we can reduce the air pollution, because it affects our children, our elderly, those who are, those people who are dependent on us, they are affected in a great way. Obviously, with and also with such high level, even we are also, even the normal individual are also affected. So I think
All right.
that should be taken. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Maurya as well as Karthik Ganeshan, many thanks for joining us.